I've been a taxi driver in New York City for over 10 years. In this job, every day is unpredictable. You pick up strangers with stories you'll never know, sometimes smiles, sometimes silence, and sometimes something that changes your entire life. It was raining that night, heavy, sharp rain that made the city blur. My shift was about to end, and all I wanted was a warm meal and a quiet night. That's when I got a ping near Wall Street. I almost ignored it, but something nudged me, maybe fate, maybe hunger. I pulled up to the address. A man in an expensive suit was stumbling out of a building, drenched, pale, and gasping. At first, I thought he was drunk, but the way he clutched his chest, no, this was something else. "Help," he murmured, collapsing halfway into my back seat. I didn't hesitate. I jumped out, dragged him fully into the cab, and hit the gas toward the nearest hospital. He was unconscious within a minute. I broke every traffic law that night, and I'd do it again. When we reached the emergency room, I screamed for help. Nurses rushed out, pulling him away on a gurney. I stood there, soaked to the bone, watching him disappear behind the sliding doors. I didn't even know his name. I waited for hours. No one came out to update me. Eventually, I left. No bill. No thanks, just the memory of a man whose life I might have saved. Weeks passed. I kept driving. I told no one. Why would I? Heroes in movies get medals. In real life, they just keep working. But something inside me had shifted. That moment reminded me how fragile life was. I began thinking about my own dreams, the business ideas I'd scribbled in notebooks during late-night breaks, the plans I'd shelved because people like me don't get big breaks. My parents were immigrants. I worked 2 jobs to support my younger sister's education. Ambition was a luxury I couldn't afford. Until that night, it lit a fire in me. I started listening to podcasts between rides, finance, startups, mindset. I watched YouTube tutorials on business planning. I cut down on junk food, woke up earlier, wrote out my goals like they meant something. Still, I was a cab driver, no investor, no connections. Just a guy with a notebook, a dream, and a memory of a man I saved who never even knew my name. 2 years later, I was waiting outside a luxury hotel, looking for a passenger named Daniel. A man stepped out tall, tailored suit, sharp eyes. Something about him looked familiar, but I couldn't place it. He slid into the back seat, speaking into his phone. "No, I told the board we're not pivoting. We're doubling down." Investor talk. I kept my mouth shut and drove. 10 minutes in, he said, "You know, I feel like I've been in this cab before." I smiled in the mirror. Lots of people say that. "All cabs look the same after a while," he laughed. "No, I mean, you look familiar." He paused, then leaned forward slowly. "Wait, you didn't drive someone to Mercy Hospital 2 years ago, did you? During a storm?" My heart skipped. "I did." He stared. "Holy, that was me." Silence. "I was having a heart attack. You saved my life." I looked at him through the mirror. "I thought you never knew." "I didn't. I was unconscious. But the hospital records had your cab plate. I tried to find you, but nothing came up. No full name. No contact. I guess I just drove off." He sat back, shaking his head. "You changed my life. For the next hour we talked." He asked about me, my life, my family, my dreams. I told him everything. Maybe it was the moment. Maybe it was the truth finally finding air. He listened. "Really listen, then," he said. "Come inside with me." We walked into the hotel's rooftop lounge. Men in suits, waiters with trays. He introduced me as the man who saved my life. People turned. I felt like I didn't belong, but he made sure I did. Afterward, we sat with coffee. "I want to invest in you," he said. I laughed. "Invest in what?" "I'm a taxi driver." He leaned in. "No, you're a man who learns, adapts, works hard, and doesn't wait to be asked." That's the kind of partner I want." I was speechless. He handed me a card. "Come to this office tomorrow. Bring your notebook. I want to hear every idea you've got." Part 5. From wheels to boardroom the next day, I walked into his office with trembling hands and 20 pages of notes. I pitched him my idea for a tech-based transportation app designed to help immigrant drivers find fair fares, insurance, and better routes. He loved it. Within weeks, we were working together. I quit the taxi, became his apprentice, then his co-founder. We launched the app 8 months later. It didn't just make money, it made a difference. Drivers sent us messages from across the city, thanking us for giving them tools and dignity. 2 years after that stormy night, I was no longer a man driving strangers through the rain. I was a partner, a CEO, a story. Sometimes the smallest decision, a fare you almost ignore, becomes the turning point of your life. I didn't save Daniel that night to get anything back, but fate has a funny way of rewarding quiet courage. Today, when I speak at events, I tell people, never underestimate where you are. It might be the very road that leads you home. Because once I was just a taxi driver. Now I'm driving change.